Hello, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the final session of Soul Canvas Activate. I am the co founder of Soul Canvas, Yhá Mourhia Wright. And I'm so grateful for you all being here. We're going to discuss my Back to Center workshop, which I had the honor of presenting in person at Pace University in New York, my grad school alma mater. And when Tamika and I were talking about, Soul Canvas Activate, I thought, okay, what would be a great workshop that I feel like I really want to bring back and bring to the community? And Back to Center came to mind. So, what we're going to discuss today is being able to identify some of our triggers, some of our stressors, and really being able to reconnect with ourselves and remind ourselves of those moments in our life where we felt very full, where we felt freedom, where we felt joy, and identifying where in those moments is our center, which is our baseline, where we want to return when the going gets tough, when life gets stressful. So, without further ado, we're going to get right into it. Righty. Okay. So, back to center. Let's go ahead and scroll. Next slide. There we go. All right. All right. How did I get here? I developed a passion for storytelling, writing, and acting very early on. This is, a couple of family photos merged together, me as a baby right there on the left. I had imaginary friends. I was always telling stories. Growing up as a middle child, my parents gained financial stability when my younger sister was born, but there were challenges when I was coming up that did not allow me to go into theater camps or really explore. My parents, simply put, they ain't always had it. So, it wasn't always easy. Hold on, I'm about to change my Tamika, I wanted to change my layout here. Pardon me, y'all. Okay, I got it. It wasn't always easy. Growing up. And so I began to, really tell stories and wasn't always able to explore that fully, but it's always been a big part of who I am, of what makes me, Yhá Mourhia. Um, Moving on, I found my niche in academics and leadership very early on. Initially, I pursued a path towards law school. I was planning to go into law school. I was actually an undergrad at Santa Clara University. I was a poli-sci major. I was not a theater major, but then I shifted to theater because I got the opportunity to receive a theater scholarship in the middle of my sophomore year in undergrad, and I was able to fully commit because I was never taking a lot of my government courses anyways in undergrad. Once I got there, I was like, oh, I can finally pursue what I've always wanted to pursue. And so I just pursued theater. Because I could finally do it. I could finally do it. So in this workshop, as I mentioned, we're going to help you. I'm going to help you guide you towards re-identifying your true passions, finding balance, and of course, getting back to center. All right. So we're going to start by talking about triggers. They happen a lot. That word is used so much now. And I know that it can sometimes even feel daunting because people say, oh, I'm triggered. It's triggering me. But the reality is we're now able to explore language behind the emotions that we're feeling, right? As I say on this slide, being triggered isn't a new experience, but understanding the language around it is. So we're not going to take 10 minutes. We're going to take 2 minutes because I want to be able to get through this full presentation, which fun fact, was not able to do the first time I did it. So my goal is to be able to get through it with some grace though, right? So we're going to take just 2 minutes and I'm going to give you all on the clock some time to really reflect on things that trigger you to to overwork or withdraw or other patterns that you realize are not the most healthy or helpful to you. So just going to take 2 minutes to do that and we're going to come back. Feel free to drop any thoughts or any revelations in the chat. You can also keep it to yourself. But we're gonna go ahead and start 2 minutes. So timer starts now. Mute myself and I'll come back in a moment. All righty, we will bring it back. Oops, sorry about that. We will bring it back. So I hope those were that you all had time to sit with some of your reflections. Of course, this is an ongoing exercise. I will say at the end of this, you will also be provided with a QR code where you can join my email list. And specifically for this, I will send the workbook as well as a landing page that will have some helpful resources, YouTube videos, all sorts of things that will really help you in your journey back to center. And just, this is, of course, I like to say, this is not a destination. This is an ongoing process. This is a wellness practice. So it is something that we continue to incorporate into our lives and grow with, and it evolves as we evolve, right? All right. So moving along. All right. I really love this quote. I don't know how many folks out here know of the book, The Body Keeps Score. But this quote: traumatized people chronically feel unsafe inside their bodies. The past is alive in the form of gnawing interior discomfort. Their bodies are constantly bombarded by visceral warning signs, and in an attempt to control these processes, they often become an expert at ignoring their gut feelings and in numbing awareness of what is played out inside. They learn to hide from themselves. Such a powerful quote, such a powerful bit of reflection. If anyone wants to drop in the chat here live on YouTube how that resonates with you, I would love to hear that and talk about that. If not, all good. We're going to move on regardless, but I'm always here to, slow down the pace and just check in, because this is, especially it's the evening. It's the perfect time to reflect. It's the perfect time. It's towards the end of the week to sit with ourselves, definitely the end of the work week. So just the different ways that we can continue to process and work alongside ourselves instead of working in resistance, right? Staying in flow. All right, moving along here. Here are some reflection prompts. Again, I will be providing these in the workbook, but some questions to ask yourself. What happened after you stretch past your capacity doing insert thing, right? To be there for others and do beyond what you could safely do. When we think about the word safe, what is safe? Safe is means I can do this. I can extend myself without feeling like I am losing myself, without feeling frustrated with myself, right? How did you feel when you stretched beyond? And I don't want people, when you go through this exercise, be it now, if you're really thinking about that, journaling right now, definitely welcome you to do that. But I don't want you to integrate that discomfort into your body. I actually just want you to lightly graze a sensation and back off. You might say, Mourhia, how do I do that? Well, you don't got to do much if you're like, okay, when I stretch beyond, when I stretch myself beyond, by the end of the day, I'm depleted, and I sit down and I just eat a bunch of junk food that doesn't make me feel good. That's all you need to know. You don't need to think about what kind of junk food is it? How do I feel when I wake up in the morning? That's very sense memory. I'm a trained method actress, so I know that very well. We don't want to go there, because that's work where you need a container, you need support in order to really go there. We're not doing that. What we're doing is just saying, what are the triggers? How did it make me feel? The trigger was I betrayed myself. I said yes to something when I didn't really have the time to do it, when I didn't have the capacity to do it. I didn't feel good about it. And so to distance myself from that feeling, I began to numb myself via insert. It can be drinking, it can be eating, it could be partying, it could be even sleeping, whatever it is, right? And then that goes to, what did you do as a result of that trigger? And then after you came to, which means the next morning or moments later or days later, how did you feel about the responsibilities? Because the thing is, you still have things in life that you must attend to. And how did you feel? Did you then feel defeated? Did you feel like, oh my gosh, I'm stressed now? Did you feel shame, anxiety, all of those feelings, those very big, heavy emotions, right? So we want to be able to identify those things and to sit with not those, but to sit with the reality of what we feel when we betray ourselves. Okay. And that is not to wallow in it. It's to say, okay, I realize I feel this. So then, therefore, I don't like to feel triggered. I don't like the habits or the behaviors that I pick up when I'm not feeling good or when I'm feeling stressed. So, what do I need to do? in order to prevent that, in order to mitigate that, to manage that, I've got to know when to say no, right? I've got to know when to separate myself from my phone. I've got to know, insert thing that you realize if I do this, it'll prevent me from spiraling or, going down a path where I'm losing myself, right? And I'm making decisions that are outside of the best decision or the best path for me. Okay. So those are things to definitely think about as we get back to center. And I have a toolbox for you, some things that I really want you all to sit with. And again, there will be a workbook at the end. Different ways that you can begin to ground yourself to be able to regulate your nervous system, right? So deep inhales and exhales. Slow down so that you can feel the emotions that are bubbling up inside of you. They're going to feel inconvenient, right? They're going to feel, you might feel yourself tense up. But if you allow yourself to experience the fear, the failure, the fear of failure, fear of abandonment, fear, the stress, the whatever that is, the exhaustion, if you allow yourself to feel that those emotions that come up when you betray yourself or when you do less than what is good for yourself by saying yes to those things that you don't have capacity for, or yes to those things that you don't really want to do, or even yes to those things that you do want to do but are going to set you back from your ultimate goals. Let yourself feel that, and then I want you to just put it to the side. And now we're going to contrast that and we're going to find our center. Okay. The contrasting feeling is going to be, you're going to explore that by recalling a moment in your life. It can be last week, yesterday, an hour ago, but typically it will be found, you will find it in the depths of your innocence, your childhood. Those who maybe didn't have a childhood that had ease or had to block things out, maybe you'll find that in your adulthood. Maybe you're like, Mourhia, I don't know what that is. I'm going to tell you, we all have it, but sometimes it's just a flicker of a moment. Sometimes it's a big moment. Sometimes it's not. So an example of that, when you first went to your grandma's house and you saw snow and she let you play outside and you felt free. And yes, it was cold, but you felt free. You felt like you were in a winter wonderland. Or the first time you had, I don't know, caviar, you felt like, oh, you know what? I'm that person. I'm that chick. I'm her. I'm him. I'm them. I'm that person. You felt like, oh, I feel good about myself. I'm eating something that is luxurious. I'm allowing myself to enjoy a moment. Maybe it was a spa. Maybe it was soaking your feet. You can find those moments where you just felt like, oh, and it's so funny because the moment itself might not feel tied into the sensation that comes up, but you'll realize when you revisit that moment that it's actually, oh, I felt free. Oh, I felt peace. Oh, no one was asking me for anything. And that felt like joy. Or, the silence felt like freedom. And you start to really explore those things and you'll discover your baseline, right? So it's like, Mourhia, what people have asked, okay, so does that mean I need to go soak my feet? What if I can't get to snow? It's not that. It's about being able to recall it into your memory and to say, okay, oh yeah, that snow, that cold, it felt good, or I could feel it in my mitten. I could still feel the coldness and the ice in my mittens, or I felt free, or I saw my grandma and she was cooking eggs maybe, and the scent was like still somehow leaving the house, and I could smell it even outside, while I'm in the snow, whatever that memory is. And it's like, okay, oh yeah, I felt freedom. Right. And then you're able to re-experience that again, contrasting that with the feelings that we, especially as adults, as we grow older, contrasting that with feelings where you feel tightness, where you feel stressed, where you feel anxiety, pressure, right? And it's like, oh, I feel this. This doesn't feel good. Oh, but I know that snowy day, that snow day, that feels good. Okay, cool. I know what peace in my body feels like. That's what it's about. Being able to say, this is what feels good. I know what it feels like. And I might not ever get to that moment again, but I know what it feels like. And so, therefore, you have a compass, right? You have a compass. This feels good. That feels tight. I don't feel free. I feel stressed, etc. And that contrast can begin to guide you to, as my dad loves to always remind me, biblically, as a biblical reference, is to pursue peace. And it's like, oh, I know this doesn't feel good, but this reminds me. I feel more like when I do this, it makes me feel a little bit more like the kid playing in the snow. I'm going to pursue that feeling, which means, therefore, I'm going to say no, not right now. I'll call you later. I'll hit you up later, to everything that pushes me further from that good feeling. And that good feeling is the baseline. And that good feeling is your center. Okay. I'm going to move on. All right. So we are going to take 3 minutes here. If you are laying down, or sorry, so y'all probably not laying down, you're probably streaming, but maybe you are. Maybe you just got your phone out. If you're laying down, if you can lay down wherever you are, if you can take a moment, take that moment. If you can't take the moment right now, we will have this is going to be available for replay. And like I said, there is a workbook that will be provided to all who sign up to receive it. But you can scan this QR code here on the screen. It's actually a playlist, a back to center playlist that I curated with a lot of high frequency songs. And so what we're going to do in this next 3 minutes is you're going to take time. You're going to close your eyes. You can keep them open, whatever. You can daydream, journal. It's your time. And I want you to just recall that beautiful moment, right? And the goal here is to recall the time from your childhood or whenever it could be, again, like I said last week, when you felt pure joy or happiness, and to begin to think about, how can I bring that into my life now? I see new people joining. Hi, everyone is joining. My name is Yhá Mourhia Wright. I'm the Soul Canvas co-founder. We are doing a back to center workshop, which is about identifying our center, identifying the moments in our life where we feel peace, where we feel joy, so that we can contrast those with moments where we're feeling tension, where we're betraying ourselves. And so the journey of this workshop is a journey to start. It's a journey for life, but it's a journey to offer some tools that will lead you to the ways that you can get back to your center, that you can get back to really identifying your place of peace, your baseline, your place of joy, your place of joy. So you can begin creating from there. You can begin saying yes from there, and so that we're not saying yes from places of resistance, from places of lack. Okay, so you can scan that QR code on the screen. It's going to open up a playlist called Back to Center that is a complimentary playlist to this workshop. Feel free to play any song from that playlist, or any songs or a playlist that you that really guides you towards peace, or you can be in silence. And you're just going to take 3 minutes, however you'd like. Again, closing your eyes, opening your eyes, journaling, and just reflecting on a moment in your life that brought you pure bliss, joy, freedom. We're going to re-identify and reconnect with that feeling. And we will be back in 3 minutes. So I'm going to go on mute. I'm going to be quiet, and I'm going to let y'all have your time. We'll be back in 3 minutes. All righty, that was our time. I hope you all are feeling a little more grounded and centered, but please do share in the chat. I'm going to move on, but if I see any new comments in the chat about what that experience was like for you or what this workshop is kind of bringing up for you or anything like that, I will slow myself down to attend to the chat and to comment and engage. So, y'all are guiding me through this. If you begin to comment and engage, I'll slow down. Otherwise, I'm just going to continue through. Okay. All right. So, next slide here. Um, we're going to write down some I feel I am statements. So, this is one step deeper. This we're going to take 2 minutes to do. We'll take another three. Let's just do three and three. Okay. I like balance. My birthday's October 3rd, too. Why not? I want you to write when you think about the feeling that came up for you, right? And thinking about the happy moment. We're not thinking about the drama and the trauma, the happy moment. I want you to write 5 I feel statements. So I feel relaxed, I feel peace, I feel joy, whatever that is. And then right after that, you're going to write 5 I am statements. This might be complicated. It might feel challenging. Again, this is not a test. And this is something you can revisit. Again, I will be providing you with a workbook. This is something you can continue to work on. The I am statements might be like, I am free. I am creative. I am resourceful. Whatever comes up, these you're leaning into the good feeling that the good emotions and sensations that comes up when you recall this beautiful time or moment in your life. And then from there, we're going to begin to affirm ourselves, right? Again, this still begins to create roots for you so that you can have your trunk, but you want to have roots that go deep, 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 deep into the ground for you, right? Into your soil, so that you are anchoring yourself into your center, right? You're anchoring your center so that you're not swaying and going left to right and up and down, depending on what's being thrown at you. So I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to set the timer for 3 more minutes. Again, if you want that playlist, that QR code that I provided before, you can pull that playlist up. If anybody's like, I don't see the playlist, you know what? I'll just go ahead and throw it in the chat preemptively, just in case anybody wants to pull that playlist up. Okay. I'm going to start the timer for 3 minutes and then we'll come back. All righty, we are back again, but I just got inspired, y'all. I'm playing the back to center on my TV here and just kind of swaying and staying in the energy. And I think it's probably my favorite Cleo Soul song, "Build Me Up." And so it's on the playlist. I'm gonna drop the link to that particular song in the chat. Um, but I actually want to just like kind of pull these lyrics up. This is totally you know, off script, but just like let's just like look at these lyrics real quick. If I can be free, I know it's easier to run. Is that fair on me? Could it be that you got stuck in someone else's dream? You tried so hard to fight the rain that you missed the sea, the expansion. Because I'd rather be emotional than hurt inside. That's why I cry. Do you ever look at yourself and see the truth in your eyes? Is it hard for you to do, build me up? Is it hard for you to say, build me up? Forgive me, I'm not what you want me to be, but I was raised under a roof of unfinished dreams. That makes me think of a dream deferred. How to love, how to trust without a fight. Finally learning how to live my own life. Oh, y'all, that's a whole workshop in itself. Okay, that's a whole workshop in itself. But sharing that gem with you, we are going to move on. However, okay, we're going to discuss boundaries. So we've identified some places in our center. So now we're going to really discuss boundaries. Boundaries, now, something that indicates or fixes a limit or extent. All right. Extent means the amount of space or surface that something occupies or the distance over which it extends. Overextending ourselves. I know everybody who's a creative, especially in this day and age where we're just slammed left and right with, information about who's doing what and how they're doing it, right? So, I want to talk about and break down boundaries and how we're able to establish those within ourselves. So, this is an accountability exercise. I did this in my original workshop in groups and pairs. We're not in that kind of setting here. If you have somebody you can do this with at home when you're watching the replay, or when you grab the workbook, you can do that with someone. You can also do it with someone, now if there's someone beside you. But I want you to think about, you can do this alone in this case, about 2 times. And I said February 20, 2024, which is very, very funny. That was because there was a journal prompt that I kind of anchored when I did this. And that's funny. Where you agree to do something or go somewhere or entertains anything that goes against your true desires. When did you first disrespect your own boundaries? And we'll just say since February 6th of 2024, right? We're almost at a year since this date that I put anyways. But when in the past year, you're like probably like, I got a list, or maybe you're like, oh no, I figured that out. Ain't nobody pushing me. Good for you, but for real. But think about that, right? And then what happened next? We're gonna take this really back to ourselves before we kind of thought on the macro, just recalling, but we're gonna find an instant, one instance where this happened. What happened next? Did the people appreciate you? If they did, cool. You disrespected your boundaries to do whatever. Was it appreciated? If it cool, if yes, cool. If and when you felt unappreciated or uncomfortable, what did you do next? Did you eat less nourishing food? Did you drink too much? Did you project your pain and frustration onto someone else? Did you gossip? Did you belittle people? Right? Think about this, and we want to think about how we get through this, and we get through this by identifying what makes us feel uncomfortable and knowing what makes us feel uncomfortable so that we don't do it to ourselves, right? We are taught often very early on, and I can speak very specifically as a Black woman. My experiences, we're taught very early on, and everybody has different experiences, but for me, I was taught very early on to betray my feelings, my emotions, my boundaries. Taught it in school, taught it even in church, taught it in home. My parents were always, they did an awesome job, but if people don't have boundaries, how do they teach them, right? And that can be like, oh, I don't feel comfortable doing this. I don't want to hug that person. I don't want to, and yes, children can't, you got to have some boundaries with them. But it's just thinking about and recalling, if you were forced to feel like what you felt didn't matter, or you didn't feel heard. For me, I was very emotive. So throughout the course of even my schooling, everywhere around me, people would say, oh, you're dramatic. And sure, yes, I am. I can be dramatic. But it made me feel like my way of expressing myself was wrong, versus it was just the way that I expressed myself, right? So then what happens if you feel it's wrong? Well, nobody wants to keep doing the wrong thing or doing the thing that's going to alienate them. So you start to change how you enter the world, right? But now we're on a different track here. We are establishing our boundaries within ourselves, and we are reflecting on those things. We're not going to sit with this exercise, but again, this replay is available and the workbook will be available. But I want you to really think about this as you go into your own journey this year of being able to reconnect with your center. And in doing so, in order to be connected to your center, in order to get back to that place where you're like, oh, this feels good. This no feels good because I feel bliss. And this bliss has nothing to do with the snow in my grandma's backyard. But man, if I felt free then, and I feel free again because I said no. And so my time is free, or I'm just able to just lean into what I want to do, right? So this is an ongoing journey is what I'm saying. And your boundaries are the protectors that allow you to protect your center, right? The boundaries go around your center, because your center is a soft place. It's a place of joy. It's a vulnerable place, right? And you need those boundaries to protect it so that you're not betraying yourself, right? Okay. So we're going to move on. Give voice to your truth. All right. So here are some tips on how to say no. All right. Lovingly explain that you are at capacity with all volunteer or unpaid work. And unfortunately, you cannot assist with said thing at the moment, right? This happens a lot to us creators, to producers. It happens a lot. You can say, hey, I have only so much I can do per quarter, per year, per month. I can't do it anymore. And what does that do to protect you? I can say for me, how that protects me, that makes sure that I am giving my all to those projects that I'm doing where I'm not being financially compensated. It also ensures that I'm able to give time to myself to do the job that I have where I am financially compensated. I have a 9 to 5, or, my workshops, which are also generate income, right? It allows me to be able to focus on those things on my business, right? Create an honest schedule that reflects how busy you really are. Be very honest with yourself. Don't just say, throw it on my books. And it's like, you've got 30 minutes after your other meeting, and that's the only 30 minutes you have all day between 9 and 7. You're really back to back. Unless all those meetings are putting a lot of money in the bank, I can't imagine why you need all of them in one day, right? These are real conversations I've had to have with myself. Be honest about your schedule. Block out time where you're just like, I take an hour, I take 40 minutes, because you're not, especially if you're an entrepreneur, you're probably not going to be able to do that every day. So when you're able to put that on your schedule and just say, no, this is my 45 minutes, and you don't need to explain it to anybody. You don't need to let that be available, because that's for you. Even if you want to stare at a wall, that's your time to stare at a wall. Set a spending limit on Apple Pay, or use cash to manage your finances. Consider inviting friends to your home when you are budgeting, right? So you can have more control over your finances, less temptation to spend. So it's not about not being able to spend time with people, but it's, hey, I'm in a season where I'm budgeting. Can we do this? Can we do coffee? Can we go to a park? Can we go to free museum night? You got to get creative, right? Everything doesn't have to be spending in order to enjoy. Educate yourself on better financial budgeting and skills, and commit to sticking to them. So this is specifically deals with finances, but this goes for anything, right? If you're like, hey, I want to learn more about producing or filmmaking or whatever, then educate yourself on that so you can better understand it, right? And that means that any new job that maybe comes up where it's out, maybe you're a producer, you want to get into directing, you might have to say no to some producing gigs so that you can focus on directing, right? I'm in that boat right now. And so better educate yourself about directing. Pour your energy into where you want to go, right? If you're financially, you're trying to educate yourself, pour your energy into that. Oh, I just saw 444, 4444. If you are, you want to, go into directing and you're a producer, educate yourself in that. Pour yourself into where you want to go, not where you are. Where you are often keeps us stuck, because where we are often is not where we want to be, especially with creatives, where people who are constantly attracted to building and growing, right? So these are tips to really be able to begin to anchor yourself into that. Okay, and you can apply this to whatever you are trying to focus on or intentionally manifest, call into your life. Okay, rebuilding your boundaries. Okay, leaning into those, I see we have a new person on. Welcome to Back to Center. Leaning into what is unfamiliar has been the best way to rebuild my boundaries. So the discomfort of no, not right now. The discomfort of putting blocking an hour out my schedule and being like, no, I'm so sorry, I'm not free at 11 a.m. And I'm like, I'm not doing it. Doesn't matter. Yes, I am doing something. I'm relaxing my mind. I'm taking a nap. I'm making sure that I'm not overworking myself and stressing myself to the point where I'm sick or having a mental breakdown. I am doing something. Okay. Informing your friends. If people are sending you Instagram reels, TikTok, whatever, and you're like, right now I'm on a social media cleanse. A lot of people have been doing that this year. You can say, hey, can you send me a screen recording of it? If it's something, funny that you feel like seeing or whatever, or, hey, no, I'm not on it. When you are triggered or in a highly charged conversation, especially with family and close friends, a suggestion is to close your eyes. Breathe. We actually naturally do it in conflict anyways. Breathe. Take a moment to feel what's welling up inside of you and then to take action. If you're feeling anger, you might say, hey, this is making me angry. This pissed me off. I can't engage right now. If you are feeling sadness, it might be right now, I'm not feeling good. I'm feeling sad. I'm feeling overwhelmed. Um, I have to disengage right now. I'll get back to you later. Can we talk about it later? The same, because a lot of times sadness catapults us right into anger. A lot of anger is just sadness that we just don't know how to process, right? So keep being in touch with those emotions and being able to express that is key. You might not even have to identify what it is. You ain't got to tell your business, but you just know, like, what I'm feeling. What I'm feeling is throwing me off my center. I don't feel like myself. I'm not feeling good. Let me get back to my center and converse with you there. Let me relax. Let me take my me time and approach this conflict from there. Okay. Moving along. Oh my gosh, we did it. We got through this entire presentation, this entire workshop. I can't believe I did it. Y'all, I'm telling you, last time I did not get through this. But hey, I want to provide you all. So I have a Back to Center workbook. I have some suggested apps. I also have some supporting YouTube videos that really talk about this kind of work. Obviously my playlist as well. So this is my gift to everybody who has joined this workshop. Scan that QR code. You're going to see a form where you're going to be able to provide your email and your name. Cell phone is optional. To join my email list, I will provide anybody who joins that specifically is a link for the Back to Center workshop. So I will send you the Back to Center things. And if you choose to join my greater email list and learn more about what I'm doing, happy to talk to you about that. I do have workshops. I have some free workshops that I'm about to announce and some paid, but I also do free webinars and workshops for creatives as well, so that we can be able to help one another in community no matter where you are financially. So I'll be launching those. I had those back in December. I had a workshop back in January. And I'll be launching another one in about 4 weeks. So I'm very excited. Stay tuned. You can also follow me on Instagram. There's a little ticker at the bottom, Ms. Right on Time. I'll go ahead and throw the link in the chat. Thank you all so much for attending Soul Canvas Activate. Tamika and I are so grateful. Soul Canvas, our inaugural event was at Emerson College, LA on March 30th of last year. It has almost been a year since we've had a Soul Canvas event. So Soul Canvas Activate has been a beautiful time. And I look forward to the ways that Tamika and I ideate to expand this into more virtual, but also in person. Soul Canvas, we're going to keep on going. This is an inclusive space for all. And so thank you all who have joined and who have been in community with us. You can always replay this and share it with your friends, family, lovers, everybody. And thank you so much. Be blessed, be safe, and have a wonderful remainder of your month. Bye.
Every single day that you wake up with breath in your body is an opportunity to do something different.
And that's when I started therapy. And that really changed my life personally, yes, but also as an artist.
It's hard for me to create something original when I'm being influenced by something that somebody else did.
And just like a farmer sees promise in a young potato, is how God sees promise in you.
That's power. That's power. And don't let anybody diminish the value that you bring to a space.